Are you ready to go Old Testament?
Yeah.
Saddle up, heathens. We're Genesis 9, 10, and 11. It's a lot.
Yeah, we are.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So much.
That's right, we got the continuation of Noah and his family after the flood.
The rainbow.
Huh? We've got Jeff's favorite phrase in the Bible.
And Noah awoke from his wine.
Pretty great, huh? And we got the Tower of Babel. That's right. God does not like us getting along and talking to each other, being all productive. Not really interested in us working together. That old God guy. All right, let's do this shit. Cool camera over here. And it has a whole iPad setup. So before we get up there, before I call you, I set up the light.
iPad setup. Go ahead, rub it in.
None of
Just rub
this
it in.
part
That's
doesn't
cool.
help.
No, rub it in, buddy. That's cool. No, none but love. None but love. Yeah. Did I mention it's because I have a really old but way cooler than your new PC iPad? Did I mention that part? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you put it behind the computer. So my camera is right behind your face, so I can look at you, right?
Again, don't talk to me like that. I know where the camera goes. I'm like, but there's no way to make my camera do what I want it to, unless I get an I need to get a camera that's not right there, right? I need this to go away.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, the only thing you could do is move the computer physically back farther.
Yeah, and I tried that, and all it did was nothing really. It just looks like I have an even bigger head, actually. The biggest fucking head in the world. You ever tried shopping for hats, Slave?
yeah. Have you heard about the man, I fucking already butchered this going into it. I'm like, should I abandon it? It's actually really good, but should I abandon it because I fucked it up so bad? Save it for another day.
I don't know. What are you talking about? What is it?
There's this so there was this guy. It was like I think it was like a This American Life or one of those like Radiolab podcasts, one of those kind.
Yeah.
And he was like kind of a super nerd in high school, but he was really cool. So he always just assumed he was really cool. And then but he got like picked on all the time and beat up, and like he got his yearbook back once and he saw his face in the yearbook. And he was like, who the fuck is that nerd? And what he realized is when he parts his hair on this side, on the left side, he looks like a nerd. But when he parts his hair on the right side, he looks like a fucking model. But when he's looking in the mirror, your image is reversed. So he's parting it to what he thinks is the right side, but it's actually on the left. So he parted his hair on the other side and had this complete transformation at school. and Jimmy Carter at the time was running for president, and he was like a big fan, and he noticed that Jimmy Carter was parting his hair on one side, so he wrote him a letter. And then Jimmy Carter, like 3 weeks later, started parting his hair on the other side, went up 10 points in the poll. And there's like an article about it, like Jimmy Carter has started parting his hair on this side.
Oh my God.
It's weird, right?
What's funny about that is, so I don't know. You don't part your hair because you have a super rock do.
It just goes where it wants to.
And but even when my hair's long, I do one side or the other, and it doesn't really matter so much, but I know that there's a good side and I can never remember which one it is, but then the one side now, every time I do my hair, I'm like, okay, no, which side did he do it on? Which side did he do it on? So it's like, so that's how I remember now, because you're totally right. I would normally, you think it's the good side and it's not the good side because you're looking at a mirror.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten a true mirror? Like, there's an app you can download that like will show you what other people see you as.
Well, I thought we were fighting against that because that's the work of the devil. I hate to tell you this, Leif, but that's the That's the dark. That's the dark arts. Yeah.
It'll make you self-conscious. That's fucking.
Yeah.
That's the goddamn truth of it.
It's impossible to be more self-conscious than I am, though.
Yeah, I don't. It's like.
It's a very strange thing.
Yeah, I think in order.
I want to be in the. I want everyone to look at me. Stop looking at me. I want everybody to look at me. Stop looking at me. I want everyone to look at me. Why is everyone looking at me? It's just like fucking purgatory, man. It's like that's our own private purgatory.
Yeah, yeah, and anyone who says they don't want that is fucking lying. Like liar. Yeah. Fucking even Bob Dylan wants claps.
Yeah, and now likes. Which is fucking so shitty.
Like, let me take a hit. I've been doing this thing.
That's the greatest pipe ever. Let's go. Move on. Go on.
Yeah. So, I've been having like pretty rough go of it, I'd say, last couple months. But both of us with all this shit going on.
Right.
I mean, you could tell it in the podcast because our conversation will just be like, but like, I'm trying to deal with it. And one of the things that plagues me a lot is like anger. Like, I get really mad at people who judge other humans and call themselves Christians and then have never read the Bible. And I get really mad at these weird little things. And I don't like the way it makes me think or talk or act. And, it's just probably mostly my bullshit I'm dealing with from growing up the way I did, And so I don't want to throw that on the rest of the world. That's not their fucking problem. That's my problem, And I've been experimenting with when I like look at Instagram or TikTok or any of the social medias, I only look at like positive stories of humans doing nice things, and I only look at like animals, like baby elephants and turtles and stuff.
Yeah.
It is so fucking weird. It is so fucking weird. Like, that's all I see now is on my algorithm. Like, it's like people being kind to other people and
puppies and ducklings.
Yeah. And it's like, it works so well. Like, that's all I see now. And so, is that like a mini algorithm of what your mind is actually doing all the time with creating reality a little bit, where like, so I wonder if this hack works in real life.
Well, that is real life, but I think ideally you can do that for yourself.
Yeah. I guess that's what when that guy tried to fight me the other day.
Right.
Yeah, and
right.
I calmed him down. It's like normally those things that's like that's a free pass to get fucking crazy, right? Like
wilding out and shit.
Yeah, like I love that. It's unfortunately deep in me, but like no, like calm him down. I don't want him to get arrested. I don't want to get arrested. Nah, like I'm starting to, so when Christians fucking freak out on me about the name of our podcast or something like that, I don't even get mad anymore. I'm like, oh, like we were talking about how life will like zero you out sometimes, like how you'll have everything taken away and how, what a beautiful fucking experience that actually is to rebuild yourself for who you actually are, and
yeah.
I guess that brings us into the flood pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Zeroing out for sure. The big zeroing out,
The huge.
The global zero. Yeah.
The global zero.
Trademark. Are we at 8? 8-1?
So, yes, sir.
Whose turn?
Well, you read last time. I'll read this time if you want.
Yep,
I'm just trying to get a little bit more baked.
Yeah. No, do it. Yeah.
So what do you think was like going on with humanity if we got to a point where God just like...
Well, first of all, I think that it wasn't God.
Okay.
I think the flood narrative is some sort of end of an ice age You know, like I was kind of bringing it up, and I'm still sorry I can't speak to it intelligently, but like you know, there's a museum in Moses Lake, Washington, about like out there, you know the gorge, the Columbia River, that whole thing is, and there's a flood plain, giant flood plain, and it pretty much goes down. I just can't speak to it. I'm really sorry about it, but it's like, um, I I don't think it was that. I don't think it was some grand deity, some divine, because divine beings, whatever. I don't know. I
like
also
it.
I also can't speak intelligently to divine beings, but I want to. Um, but I don't think it. I think it's, again, it's an explanation for what they saw. You know, like it's an explanation. There have been, you know, the ice ages have whittled the population down to, you know, manageable levels multiple times. And again, I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm not pretending to speak intelligently about these things, but I don't think it's a somebody did this. I think that it's like what's going to happen again. You know, it's like the oceans will get warm, whatever it is. You know, it's like we're going to have another we'll have another ice age, you know, and it'll kill a bunch of people, and then at some point it'll start thawing, and there'll be this, you know, and people will start populating again, and then they'll, you know, I don't want to sound more like a moron than I am.
I think you should fucking double down, because this is what I'm thinking about this as I'm reading it too. It's like, this is the explanation of the events that took place. This is how they justify the stories that were passed down for, right? Because and like, you know, if you're someone that believes in Jesus Christ and is inclined to think that this is literal, you can believe that. That's totally fine. I just don't with everything we've been unearthing. And
yeah, I think you're right. And I think the safe way to go about it is, when they're talking about natural miracles, to think about it more like Mother Nature, you know, like Mother Nature, like Mother God Mother, you know what I mean? Like the mother of everything, like that's what happened. You know, it's like, you know, it wasn't Jesus Christ, it was Mother Nature. And why are those two things different? You know, it's like I'm far more inclined to invest emotional energy into Mother Nature and all the wonder that I see that she performs, as opposed to some who doesn't ask anything from me other than probably, you know, try not to fucking burn down her planet. You know, as opposed to some guy who's like judging me and wants me to get on my knees and wants to let, you know, robed, gray-haired white guys touch my no-no place. You know, it's like that's what I think we're dealing with, is just like a Mother Nature thing.
yeah.
Did you see? I saw this Pete Davidson thing.
Oh, where he's like talking about
R.
Kelly. Yeah.
He's like, isn't that just like the Catholic Church?
But with shittier music.
Only one's music is noticeably better.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's so good. I'm like, maybe we need to get Pete on the podcast.
Dude, that guy's funny as fuck. Did you see him at the one of those, the Jake Paul, I believe, Jake Paul fight?
No. Which Jake Paul? It doesn't matter.
They hired him to like walk around and commentate, you know? And he's
Did they?
backstage. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah. And he's like going to their dressing room or their green room, you know? And he's like, we're going to the green room now because it's not really a locker room. This is pathetic and all a show. The reason I'm here talking is even more, you know, of a reason that this is pathetic. Why am I here? I know nothing about this.
Right.
This fucking made me love him. It was hilarious. That we can edit out too. But anyway, these
you're gonna
stories.
I think you're gonna need a sniff button.
Let me check. I feel really, let me do this. I'm gonna pull it away like I normally do, because I might have a little bit of a cold, but like it's normally not that bad, huh?
Okay, good. I don't know.
I'm gonna try to keep it away.
Or like,
I do, because I spend all day every day.
You know whether or not you're doing it or not, because you fucking have to edit that shit. Dan was like, Dan was like, after the first podcast of Seattle Today, Dan like, here, Steve, I got you something. It's gonna save me like 17 hours a day.
What was it? Yeah.
And Steve's like, tack. Anyway,
yeah, I'm allergic to everything too. Like actually, like.
Are you really?
Yeah, I went and got a test. They pricked my back, and with all the different.
Whoa! Who did?
An allergist. There's a specialist, but like anything outside, anything green.
Yeah, that's
like they're like, you might have 3 reactions, and my back was like swollen,
a flame.
Yeah, it was like there was like 55 reactions. So like I'm allergic to the outdoors. Yeah,
but not weed.
Probably, I'm assuming. That's why I'll keep this mic here, because my nose gets stuffy.
Man,
right. Dude, I'm not a quitter.
No, I know that about you. That's why we're here, man.
That's why we're here,
because we don't quit. You take rock music away from us, we're gonna fucking do it on our own.
Yeah. So it was just like reading over this passage. It did just fit like with natural disaster. To me, it's like, this is, how do you explain, if you were living 500 BCE in that time and you saw a tornado, how would you fucking explain that? Like, well,
let's see. Okay, God's pissed. Start there. There's obviously rage involved. Rage.
Yeah, it's a scary thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think you have to. All of these things, especially when you're talking about. Now, it's so strange though, because this sounds like God and Noah are hanging out. So that it's this thing where it goes back and forth between divine beings on earth and Mother Nature type, spiritual, you know what I mean? And it's kind of tough when they start commingling and co-pollinating. It's like both of those energies are inhabiting the same story here, where it's like, hey, Noah's God's like, hey, so build it 15 feet high. Dude, are you listening? This is important. It's like he's like slapping him around, like making sure he's paying attention. Dude, you build it 16, it's going to capsize. I've done it. I've been here, okay? But then you have a guy who can conjure 40 days of rain, and so it's like those are different dudes. So it's kind of tough when
so it's not, you don't think it's one like divine dude that could do both?
I don't have an answer. I mean, I think that there have been floods and they can be explained, around the end of the last ice age, that would, that is probably what this is talking about.
Yeah.
Because really, like, what, 40 days and 40 nights of rain is really going to flood the fucking planet?
Yeah, and I mean, just to give, it does come up from the ground too, so it's like from both angles. But
that's the thing, is like, so that's the thing to look at, is like, that's a flood, that's a deluge. That's like, it's not, when they say, and I think that's why it says that, it's not that water is coming up from the ground, it's like water is surrounding them, like water is everywhere, and that's when these like, these, like the Great Lakes, a Great Lake worth of water is behind an ice dam, and then the ice dam breaks and floods all of like the southwest, like from Vancouver, Canada, all the way down to New Mexico. There's like a flood debris field, from this, like, so it's that sort of thing. And then it seems like water's coming up from the ground because it's literally everywhere.
Yeah, because how do you explain that when you're an ancient human?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and again, I mean, please, I mean, I don't care if I get roasted, and no, not that many people who care are listening to this anyway. But it's like I don't know I know just enough to be stupid and dangerous.
I think they like it. I think they like us.
I hope so.
It seems to be working. Yeah.
Yeah.
If this angle that we're taking on it, which is I feel pretty strongly on, that these events that happened took place so long ago, and so like, this would have had to have been passed down for a really long time before writing. So these stories they show up through history this way. They're in different civilizations before. There's more than one that talk about this. And not only that, but we brought up last week, like the Babylonians have a myth that share so many similarities with this flood narrative, and it predates it by 1,000 to 1,500 years, that it's like you can't really say that it's not like this one came first,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and apparently, I think the end of the last ice age was like 11,000 years ago. So that's the time frame you're looking at. Is like
that would make sense, right? That's exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
cool.
but everybody has one because the population got narrowed down so far that the people that are left are like, they all remember it. And so that's like every religion, everywhere you go, let's say there were, I don't know how many people. I bet you could look it up and find out approximately how many people inhabited the planet after the last ice age. But I'll bet it's less than 10,000. I just pulled that number out of my ass, by the way.
Off. I like it. Well, I know.
I bet it's less than 10,000 less. Because I was going to say 1,000, and I'm like, fuck, it's too little. But I want it to be like 1,000 people. Like I want it to be less people than fit in the Moore Theater.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, that's how many people have to put on this, and then so 10,000 years later, everybody on the planet is related to somebody that was in that room.
Yep.
So sorry.
No, I'm thinking. I love it. Yeah, and I was just thinking, like, if this event did happen, and let's say the number doesn't really matter of humans, but can you imagine the humans that survived? Like anything they did the day before this catastrophic event, like if they jerked off the day before, they weren't jerking off ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like they must have been so scared.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that they're like so the people that this didn't and this is like if you're going to be real about it, then the people who lived through this thing that happened had a really, really fucking hard life, like harder than people,
Animals.
Like what's that?
They basically live like animals, right? They're cave dwellers or hut dwellers.
They were living through an ice age. The people who were around for this,
I'm following you.
I guess no, they weren't. Like parts of the we need to do a deep dive on this because if there was it was the end of the ice age, so that's probably why there were people in the plains, because that was probably going to be the first places. The lower elevations are going to be where the ice melts first. But
here's the fun part for everyone listening is that when you grow up as I did, infinitely more about science and history than I do, because my books, any type of schooling I had, never acknowledges
right. But this isn't
6,000.
But this isn't that. This is all post-internet. That I'm just like when I was a single dad and I had a lot of time on my hands, I would always just like fucking documentaries, look, and especially the thing about with the whole, we talked about the whole Mayan calendar ending, and
Yeah.
I was just like, anything that was even any sort of conspiracy or just like debunking, anything, and especially things that were nearby, and that floodplain over in Moses Lake, that museum. I can't believe I have relatives there, and I've never been to the museum, but next time we're going.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. Well,
Oh,
how about
I'm sorry, but my point was that like none of this is because of my upbringing and my schooling, because school was shitty.
see?
Like,
Well, the cool part is like it's still so new to me that I think everyone will be excited because I don't think I can hide. Like when my eyes get really big, I'm like, what? Like some of this shit I've still never heard,
yeah, that's
and like,
awesome. That's
yeah, it's
awesome.
weird looking, getting close to 40 and being like, oh yeah, I never heard that album. Like I've still haven't seen all the movies yet either. So,
Right, right.
but do we just want to continue? How about I
Yeah,
read all of Genesis 8 and then we
yeah,
just start
yeah,
going crazy?
yeah.
Is that
Do it.
cool?
Yeah.
Okay, Genesis 8. God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And God caused a wind, excuse me, and God caused a wind to blow across the earth, and the waters subsided. The mountains of the deep and the floodgates of the sky were stopped up, and the rain from the sky was held back. The waters then receded steadily from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the waters diminished. So, in the 7th month of the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The waters went on diminishing until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first of the month, the tops of the mountains became visible. At the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent out the raven. It went out to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out the dove to see whether the waters had decreased from the surface of the ground, but the dove could not find a resting place for its foot, and returned to him to the ark, for there was water all over the earth. So putting out his hand, he took it into the ark with him. He waited another 7 days and again sent out a dove from the ark. The dove came back to him towards evening, and there was in its bill was plucked off olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the waters had decreased on the earth. He waited still another 7 days and sent the dove forth, and it did not return to him any more. In the 601st year, in the first month, on the first of the month, the waters began to dry from the earth. And when Noah removed the covering of the ark, he saw that the surface of the ground was drying. Weed, throat. And in the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. God spoke to Noah, saying, "Come out of the ark, together with your wife and your sons wives. Bring out every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds, animals, and everything that creeps on the earth. And let them swarm on the earth and be fertile and increase on the earth." So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives. Every animal, creeping thing, and every bird, everything that steers on the earth, out of the ark by families. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking of every clean animal and every clean bird, he offered burnt offerings on the altar. The Lord smelled the pleasing odor, and the Lord said to himself, "Never again will I doom the earth because of man, since the devisings of man's mind are evil from his youth. Nor will I ever again destroy every living being as I have done. So long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease." So, I mean, I still just can't get over the fact that God just kills everything.
Or that the boat has a window. Like, what do you mean a window? A shutters, probably, right? Like shutters. Shutters. That means like shutters.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I'm assuming it's not glass. I don't think.
Like, dude, what like plexiglass?
What, do you use some Rain-X on that bad boy?
Right. Yeah, no, it's. Uh-oh. I'm frozen. It's a really weird trip there when that happens. It's like, there you go. You're back.
Are you back? There we
You're
go.
back.
What were you going to say?
I was saying that's really weird when that happens. It's like fucking a movie where everything.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Just
it
kidding.
happened. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's like one of the movies where you can stop time and like I'm sitting here still talking
Totally.
and you're like,
I got like a nicotine lozenge showing in my mouth. Mom said I was handsome.
right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a lot to unpack, and I it really strains my intelligence. Like all the specific days are really weird,
Yeah.
and especially the one where it's like in the 601st year.
Yeah.
The 601st year of what?
Yeah.
Right? That's just random. Like,
And I mean, could be Noah's age, right?
oh yeah, it could be, sure.
But because he's 600 and something, I think it says it in the next chapter. I can't remember.
Right.
I don't want to go ahead. But like, that's why eventually we're gonna get friends that can actually read, or maybe I'll just learn how to read the original.
Oh, the
Hebrew.
Yeah.
Because like, that's kind of an important translation. I know they use the same calendar we do, you know.
Yeah.
But like, is that the 601st year of the world?
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. It can't be because of all the. I mean, they go through that long line of begats and begottens, and it's more than 600 years. You know, so and the divine beings are already populating the earth, and who's to say? Yeah, it's hard to say how much of this is like someone getting writer happy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd be interested to find out is how what similarities to all of the other, like we were saying, like almost every religion on earth has a flood narrative. And how similar, like where are the similarities?
Mm-hmm.
Are they in that it's a person? Are they in that, he saves two of each creature? Is it like how many days it is, or is it just that, there's a flood? Because without that kind of triangulation,
I can, yeah, let me look over my notes. Keep asking.
Yeah. I mean, without that triangulation, it's sort of hard to get a feel because like we've said, this is obviously something that happened in history, in ancient history, that a lot of, that everybody experienced, everybody who was around experienced. So, whether or not, like you said, this version, you can't say this version was first or better or more accurate. It would be interesting to get a background on the other ones.
Well, I know that it shares almost everything with the Epic of Gilgamesh. There we go. I'm trying to get my notes to finally come up.
Is Gilgamesh Noah?
No, there's a guy in Gilgamesh is the hero of the story. There's this guy named Utapishma that went through the flood and achieved eternal life because he was righteous in the sight of God.
So he's the Noah?
Yeah. And I haven't read the whole thing of the epic. So I was reading the Book of Enoch this morning. So
does Noah? It's okay if you do spoilers here. Does Noah go on to have eternal. He doesn't. He dies. But they said it. Like so that's different.
But he's like the most righteous man that's ever lived. Obviously, like he's the only person God picks to survive. Him and his family. So, he's the archetype for people back then of the best person there is. They share though the same materials. Like the exact same materials to build the boat out of. They share the same dimensions of the boat.
So that part we're solid on. But do they share the same, like the dove and the raven and the olive leaf and the days? You know what I mean? Like all the very like they do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. They do not share the covenant and the population, and they do not share the morality.
What's the covenant and the population?
So the covenant comes next, and I believe it's the rainbow, right? So it's like God and Noah are going to make an altar and like commit to each other in this place, and it becomes this like staple. People do it all the time, but like it's basically this. It's like a marriage, a binding contract, if you will. We will never do this again, such and such. But and the morality factor is big. So in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the world just gets destroyed. It's not because they're evil, right? And now in the Yahwist, this Israel, the nation of Israel, it becomes an issue of morality, like,
right?
So
and so that part, like any part that doesn't coincide or coexist with the other ones, I'm saying we ace.
Okay.
Just out of like throughout the highs and the lows.
Intelligence.
Well, or just at least like for the sake of what we're doing, we're not taking this document as like this is obviously the same story that all of the other religions told, right? So it's like if we're trying to boil down, you know what I mean? It's like,
dude, I just caffeined up, man. I'm in, brother. Yeah.
Well, so
I like it.
So these things. So this part where, and again, like this is that shit that fucking drives me crazy about it. It's like, la 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 la, swarms fertile. Then Noah built an altar.
Yeah, it's just like it's so much logistics of like.
But this bit just the Lord smelled the pleasing odor.
What verse is that?
That's 21. 8:21.
Yeah, like he can smell.
Like, wait, it's just like how many times does it say in the Bible, the Lord smelled the pleasing odor?
Quite a few.
What?
Yeah,
the Lord smells a lot?
Well, that's why so the altar, that's why you burn it. And think about it, because where's God? And trust me,
don't say up. Don't say up.
That's why they think.
Don't say up. Okay,
when it was written, this is what they're thinking, right?
Right.
That's why this reflects that.
Right.
Because how do you get hey, we did this for you? How do you get it up to him?
Well, but why is somebody who is up somewhere smelling?
For the same reason, when you would see a tornado, you wouldn't be like, "Man, I wish those sirens would have went off faster." Back then, you would have like shat your pants and thought you had did something wrong to the Almighty God.
No, I get that. So
back then,
okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're signing off on the fact that this is nonsense.
They were doing the best they had with what they had. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that, like, knowing what we know now, we can say. No. I'm asking because you're the person that has to kind of sign off on this as the person who's been immersed in it for so long. We sort of have to. Could we say that burning incense or wood or sheep on an altar so that God can smell the pleasing odor in heaven is a little bit of poppycock?
I think we can, yeah. I mean, unless we want to bring it into our church, we could, sacrifice virgins, and then maybe we have to rethink this. But
yeah, I just think that, like, it's important to, like, if we're parsing this out,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so that like and this other bit here where so long as the earth and like I can't, but like God showing regret. That's definitely not Yahweh. That's Elohim. And Elohim's not a guy who he doesn't strike me as the guy who is mucking with the micro. He's all about the macro. You know what I mean? So he's not if he decides to like start over, he's not worrying about the animals he killed and the blah 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 and the this and that and the other. He can just do it again. It's like a kid in a it's like a kid in a sandbox. You know, it's like so for that's you know what I mean. It's like this the last part. So as long as the 21, never again will I doom the earth because man, since the devising of man's mind are evil from his youth. That now what does that mean again?
So
never again will I doom the earth because of man, since the devisings of man's mind are from his youth, are evil from his youth.
Yeah.
He's saying that men are only evil when they're young.
No. So there is, and this is, I was so excited I was just going to let you pick that one out and then unpack all my trauma from this with you.
So I've walked right into your trap.
I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been thinking about it for a week now.
Please ask me. Please ask me. Please ask me. Please ask me.
Hey, Jeff.
Is there anything in 21 that piques your interest?
It's
so good.
I'm really glad that we're like reading the JPS, this translation. And the other translations I grew up with, mainly most Christians grew up with the New King James, or the NIV. I didn't really like the NIV. It's soft, bitches. That's some weak ass Christian shit right there. I want some these and thous every once in a while, motherfucker. So, but you like this picture becomes painted of what I'm going to call misinterpretations of poetry, but God can see your thoughts. And if you read the New King James and all these different translations, you're going to find a bunch of different verses along the way that sound just like this. And your thoughts are bad. There's a verse later on in the Old Testament that says, all of the righteous deeds you do are like a dirty menstrual cloth. God.
Jesus Christ! You know what? Who James? Who said that?
No, it's Old Testament shit. I would
So
have to look up the reference right now, but
look it fucking up. Come on, man.
This is so right.
So weird. It's so weird. Like if you think about who said it, it's like it really is like someone trying to teach you to be like to think better. You know, it's like you were saying. You know, like you're. It's like puppies and ducklings. You know what I mean? Like your thoughts should always be puppies and ducklings, because then you'll be pure. You'll be pure of heart. And it's like, that's what, and you know, it's really, obviously a dude said that, which is like, I'm just so tired of dude talk. This is a lot of dude talk.
So much dude talk in the Bible, bro.
And why
it's
can't
rough. It's rough. It's Isaiah.
Do you like that guy?
Well,
that's Old Testament, right?
Yeah. I have a hard.
Who is he? Who's Isaiah?
He was like a prophet of God. Yeah. So, and I'm excited to read through these books because they're so widely, and these books, as in the Old Testament, they're so widely and massively abused by uneducated, Bible illiterate pastors around this country. And so there's so much there that I don't want to get too deep into it, but it goes. All of us have become like one who is unclean, and all are unrighteous. All are like filthy rags.
It just says filthy rags. It doesn't say menstrual rag.
No, that's the translation for the time would be literally a tampon. Like
that's what a filthy rag is.
Yeah, for this context.
Okay.
He means tampon. We all shrivel up like a leaf, and like the wind, our sins sweep us away. Now, what this is most likely, what I believe it's referring to, is not an individual, but the state of Israel. And he's talking because what happens is if Israel as a state is doing right, feeding the orphans, helping the widowed, giving to the homeless, no one will conquer them, right? That's kind of the idea that they have with, because they worship the one God. So how could a lesser God that doesn't exist come conquer them, right? And so sometimes that state turns away from God, though, and they forget the orphans, and they forget the widowed, and they forget the poor. And what happens is God rises up this guy, and he called a prophet, and he's like, "You motherfuckers better listen," you know, like kind of think of it as like a Martin Luther King type figure, you know.
Well, I mean, I understand the I understand I understand what they're going for.
So now, for me though, and in every church in America, that is used to explain you. That is not the state. That is explained. It's you, a human, because by the very act of you being born, you're a sinner, and by the very act of you being a sinner, you're separated from Christ.
Yeah. See, and all that is, but what you're talking about is you were traumatized because, isn't this what you're talking about? You were traumatized because you thought the Lord could read your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I want to go to heaven, right?
And that's, but I don't understand. So I never again will I doom the earth because of man, since the devisings of man's mind are evil from his youth. So what is that? What are you saying that means?
Well, what I think that is reinforcing the fact that all of us are evil, every one of us. Maybe it's because of puberty. Maybe that's what it's trying to say. But like, at least from youth on, we're all a bunch of evil pieces of shit.
Well, but you could also read it as the Lord's blah, 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 blah. Never again will I doom the earth because of man, since the devisings of man's mind are evil from his youth, as in man matures, and man's only evil when his brain is still mushy from, how we've talked about your brain doesn't fully develop till you're 25 or so. And boy, these things, he could be talking that it's like, you can't damn someone for the decisions they make when they're young people, because young people are all stupid. And so he's not gonna wipe out an entire population because people are stupid when they're in their youth.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it ends though, because he says from his youth. It kind of seems like it's.
Well, I'm just saying, but like
switching on.
Right, but like the evil is from his youth, not he's evil from his youth on.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to deal with it, So I'm not going to pretend to have any of the answers for this one, but I know it affected me incredibly negatively.
Yeah. No, that's what you're saying. I'm just like, so if you put like divide, if you put only after evil, like read it like it said, since the devising of man's mind are evil only from his youth. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to kill you. He's not going to kill a man just because when he was young he had evil thoughts.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying, but obviously that's not. That could have been helpful about 23 years ago.
Where were you when I was 13?
That's information I could have used. Yeah, but still, I mean, I don't know. That's a. But again, like it'd be really, really nice to be able to have someone here to, have a real translator.
I think I'm actually just gonna figure out where to go and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I tried to already. I spent a couple of years trying to learn how to read Greek when I was on tour.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you're sober, you have a lot of free time.
There's that. There's that.
Yeah. But you
Now,
know,
do we keep? Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, it's so strange to read through these things again as an adult, and it's as we're going through this, it's like every time I feel like there's so many different ways you can take these words, you know, and it's so fucking deep, but at the same time, it's so weird, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wonder, like, I've been thinking, like, maybe Christians don't read the Bible because they don't want to have to deal with this, you know? They're just comfortable going to their little social circle. But, like, it's unfortunate because it's like, it's so much deeper than we're trying. I don't know how to get at all the angles you could take this story from, you know? And, so I'm trying not to speed through it, but
Right.
besides the fact of like, how else do we hit on this story? So God created the entire earth, well, two different gods and a bunch of their divine friends, apparently, or some divine friends, and then he didn't like it, and so he kills everything he made.
Well, after the earth has been populated by humans, where the divine beings are knocking up human women, like it doesn't do it right away. It's like, I mean, to us, it's thousands of, it's a couple centuries, hundreds, thousands of years, couple thousand years, right? I mean, if you go through all the begats and begottens, yeah. It's quite a ways. So it's not like, and again, I don't know. Yeah. But I'm sorry. So why were you, where were you going with that then?
Well, I was trying to like give us some grace by with our pace, speeding through this stuff a little bit in some of these areas, because we're going to, and to anyone listening, like we're trying to look at this from every angle and understand and see what it's saying. But sometimes it's like, what else can you say? So God kills everyone. Well, I mean, I don't have to sum it up. The way we're taking this is there was a great massive event people didn't know how to explain.
Yeah, for sure.
And that they passed that down forever, and now it's in all these stories. To me, it's almost like, is this where religion came from? Is this one event actually? From the fear, put into all these human beings that lived back then, that had to live through these times,
I would imagine that religion, or the need to explain the magic that people see before them every night when the sun goes down, every morning when the sun comes up, predates, it coincides with consciousness.
Okay, I like that.
And the, when you honing it to a dude shuffling through a garden like Snuffleupagus, how far down the line, I mean, how ancient are these stories if we've honed it to the point where there's a guy there's an all-knowing being who can't see you hiding behind a bush? It's like, so it's important to like, think about it in those terms. It's like we've our foundation is that like spirituality is a need to connect, is to mentally, is to explain the things you see, the magic of consciousness and existence, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm buckling. I hope you got that.
It's back now. It didn't cut out. Spirituality is to.
Spirituality is an attempt to explain your existence and the magic of everything that you see around you. It's like that's what spirituality connects you, is your explanation, is your like every what you just said about like, is this where religion was? I don't think the flood started it. I think I think people have always, there's always been a need to have like, what in the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, for
You
real.
look up in the stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, heaven. I get it. Heaven. It's
Yeah.
unexplainably vast and makes you unimaginably small. You know, it's like, but, and the other thing I was going to say is like, you know, you were saying, you know, you don't want people to feel like we're blasting through this. You know what we're doing? We're actually reading it. So
Yeah.
I think whatever we do, at least we're fucking reading the thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Suck a dick.
Suck a dick, man. You know what? You want to take more time with it? Read the fucking Bible.
For real. You can even make a podcast debunking everything we say. Go ahead, have fun.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I say we just keep going. Like, let's go through 9.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what do you got?
Oh, nothing. Just weird shit keeps like popping up on my screen and I can't explain it. It's like cyberpunk shit. And I'm wondering if, I don't know.
Like pop-ups?
Yeah,
My connect-
like weird images keep popping on my screen. Like it's, you know, it's just like the internet shorting out, or it's the FBI.
It could be. No, my connection is wonky also all day.
Yeah. This is something.
Would that wouldn't do it to you?
I've never seen this before.
Okay.
Very, very weird new thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Are you recording it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
nice.
recorded. And
Okay.
hopefully, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. The shit that is coming. I cannot. It's like, I said I chilled out. I told you I chilled out this week, but you know,
Right.
that means I only listened to Genesis once.
Right.
So-
Right. Not 5 times.
Yeah, and I only read through it I just read through it once every morning. Something like, you know, it's like just, you know, not, but, so I have been like going over, you know, this whole book, and it
Right.
gets fucking wacky.
Yeah.
There is some fucking Game of Thrones incest coming up. There is some fucking,
Come on, let's get there.
okay.
Why are you spoiling, man? Stop. Let's talk more rock, man.
let me get my old man glasses.
Let me do 9.
Okay, do it.
Yeah. So Genesis 9, chapter 1. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fertile and increase and fill the earth. The fear and the dread of you shall be upon all the beasts of the earth and upon all the birds of the sky, everything with which the earth is astir, and upon all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hand. Every creature that lives shall be yours to eat. As with the green grasses, I give you all these. You must not, however, eat flesh with its lifeblood in it. But for your own lifeblood, I will require a reckoning. I will require it of every beast of man too. Will I require a reckoning for human life, of every man for that of his fellow man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For in his image did God make man. Be fertile then, and increase, abound on the earth and increase on it. And God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and your offspring to come, and with every living thing that is with you, birds, cattle, and every wild beast as well, all that have come out of the ark, every living thing on earth. I will maintain my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of a flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. God further said, this is the sign that I set for the covenant between me and you, and every living creature with you, for all ages to come. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall serve as a sign of the covenant between me and earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow appears in the clouds. Is it a bow?
Mm-hmm.
Bow. Is it talking about rainbow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got to go back. Sorry. Okay. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall serve as a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow appears in the clouds, when the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures, all flesh that is on earth. That, God said to Noah, shall be the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and
Japheth.
Japheth. Ham being the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole world branched out. Noah, the tiller of the soil, was the first to plant a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk, and he uncovered himself with his tent. He what?
Within his tent, yeah.
Oh, he drank of the wine and became drunk, and he uncovered himself within his tent.
I just see him like pissing in the corner, you know?
Dude, you're pissing. I'm cool. Hold on. It's cool. Hold on. Hold on. Check it out. It's cool.
Does God talk to you? Fuck off.
I'm fucking righteous, and so's my piss. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's reckless nakedness and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a cloth, placed it against both their backs. Walking backward, they covered their father's nakedness. Their faces were turned the other way, so they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke up from his wine and learned that what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves. Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves. The lowest of slaves shall he be to his brothers." And he said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. Let Canaan be a slave to them. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be slaves to them." Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah came to 950, and then he died. Well, that's a lot.
Dude, there's so much trauma. It's just trauma bonding. That's what we're doing.
Trauma what?
Trauma bonding.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, so this is taught in every church, about respecting your elders, even if they make a mistake, right? So he makes a garden, he makes some grapes, he makes some wine, he gets fucked up. It's embarrassing for him, and the son that points that out and makes fun of it is cursed. But the two sons that don't even look at his embarrassment, right, and walk in backwards to the tent and cover him, they get blessed. So it was always like a respect your elders no matter what type of thing, and that's how it was always taught. But like, you could see how living back then with such limited resources and the way families would have to work to survive together, you know, how that could be important, right? You don't want a house divided like that, you know? But like, what a weird fucking story to have in what is supposed to be the communication from God to his people.
Well, and what? So dude gets like, you know, isn't this in the time where spiders and snakes crawl around? It's like, you don't want to be laying in your tent naked. Like, he did him a solid. It's like, hey, dad's fucking naked and passed out again.
Yeah.
But he gets, so that's
no, he makes fun of him, right? Because he's like pointing out, hey, well, I mean, that's how it's always taught, you know. So
okay,
no,
yeah,
we're reading it and are different, but I'm presenting it with the
no.
This is a lifeline for other people that have had lives like me.
Okay, well, strip that shit back because all it says is he saw his father's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. That's all it says. Hey, dad's drunk and naked again. He's not blasting him. He doesn't. At no point does it.
Well, but then so the weird part is he for not blasting him or whatever happened, he still gets
he gets
the short end of the stick, and the two guys that don't acknowledge it at all get all the rewards. So it just seems like that's what it's.
Well, they did. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. But it's that word. But that's the part that says that just separates. But Shem and Japheth took so their actions. It's like what he told on his dad. Okay. All right. God, it's fucking weird. This is old. This is some old shit, man.
I'm so excited. It gets even weirder, dude.
This is some old shit. And what about the rainbow shit though?
We didn't even talk. Well, because we already did a video, but
we did a video about what? What did we do a video about?
This is always taught to me in multiple churches. That's why global warming is fake, is because God already destroyed the earth and he gives us covenant because he says right there, I will never destroy the earth again.
Yeah, but he also says that the rainbow is a sign of that. It's like rainbows aren't a sign from God. Rainbows are water particles with sunlight going through them and refracting.
It's also weird because he's like, he put it there so he'll remember and not do it, right?
Right, like he needs like a reminder. Oh, right. Don't smite them. Right, the rainbow. Okay. Turn the rainbow off. I'm hungover. It's like, like he needs a. I don't.
And so every time when I was 14, every time I'd see a rainbow, I'd be like, "Oh shit!" Something bad just happened.
Well, because he needed a reminder or something.
Yeah, because God just needed a reminder not to kill everyone.
Oh, I'm gonna smite someone. Oh man. But I do like it is so strange that we go from rainbow and be fertile and increase every creature. No, but you must not, however, eat flesh with its lifeblood in it. So that's kosher, right? Is that what that is? Or it's got to be cleaned a certain way?
He's talking about men.
You must not eat flesh with what?
Oh, keep reading. I feel like there was a thing.
But for your own lifeblood, I will require. No, I think you have to bleed things. That's why people bleed things.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was already thinking about the verse that's a little bit down the way from that. I get it. Yeah. But for your own lifeblood, I will require a reckoning. I will require every beast of man too. I will require a reckoning for human life. Every man out there, whoever sheds the blood of man. So what's strange is he says, I will require a reckoning. I will require it of every beast. As if he's going to tell the beasts not to kill each other. Bears kill each other all the time. Yeah.
Male bears go around eating cubs.
Holy shit.
All right. So male, you see what I'm saying there?
No, I'm trying to catch up. What verse was that?
In 5.
I was down the ways.
By your own lifeblood, but for your own lifeblood, I will require a reckoning. I will require it of every beast of man too. Will I require a reckoning for human life of every man that, for that of his fellow man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall have his blood shed. So an eye for an eye, right?
Yeah.
For in his image, because we made you like us, so you can't fucking kill us.
And see, that is kind of a fucking weird, cool thing, though. Because
we're magic. Don't fuck with magic.
Right. That's why, I have super conservative law enforcement family that do not believe in the death penalty,
Because for that reason.
Because they're working, because our justice system is made up of humans, and humans make mistakes.
Right. Oh,
and that can happen. And
Oh yeah.
I'm
they
not.
would-
I'm. Oh, what? now?
They wouldn't know about this because they haven't read the Bible.
I can't comment on this because it happened this week.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, that's it. So that is the weirdest thing to start experiencing because of this podcast. Is like no one's read the Bible at all.
And we're just calling people out left and right.
Yeah, like
You can be
no,
mad.
I get it. You've gone to Bible study every Wednesday. You go to Sunday. You go to church every Sunday. But like, you don't call it cherry picking. The fact that you read the same passages over and over and over again. You've never read any of the other books. You don't call it cherry picking. No, it's okay. And like, man, it is funny to see the reaction. We were at a kid's birthday party last week. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's cool because like we'll actually have him on the podcast. It's this Kevin.
Oh, the guy you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. His last name escapes me. He's the coolest fucking dude. He's so rad. It's and obviously like I don't want to use names. My son's school is like a bunch of cool people, and he's written books. He's a professor, and I think he has a degree in theology. Well, I'll let him come on and speak, but it divides the room, let's say. And when you call people out on it, they get like weird.
Yeah.
They get like like they either get awesome and become very humble and like nice, or they get like super weird.
The opposite.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that woman who like did the singing at the celebration I was telling you about, she was the former. She totally was awesome. She's like,
yeah,
I haven't read the Bible. I've been meaning to, and I really want to. And I'm like, and I don't ever like go at people for them not doing it. I said, isn't it strange? Isn't it like peculiar that seems to be more of a rule than an exception? And if you can't acquiesce to that as a member of that, whatever, as somebody who wears that's denial, man.
Yeah.
And and from that point, I don't have any respect for, if you're still going to like get all uppity, you're still going to get all like, no, then I don't have any respect. You have to be like, no, you caught me.
And it's, it'll be like, I'm talking people who've been Christians for 30, 40 years.
Their whole lives.
Yeah, their entire lives. And
look, I'm not, it's not, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not judging those people, but it's like, if you can't
live your life.
If you can't see the dichotomy there, where it's like, that's all we're talking about. It's a little peculiar.
It's a little, right? Strange.
And it's so anyway, let's
what else are you missing if you're missing all that,
right?
Man, I'm going to take 2 seconds. This church down here that my buddy Gio works at, it's called the Dream Center.
Yeah. They're
so fucking cool. It's insane. So when COVID hit, the pastor was like, man, you know what we're going to do? We're going to turn X amount of our building into a space that's a school where like they made the boxes for the kids for anyone in the community that is a single parent that has to work and they don't know what to do with their child now. So they turned the whole wing of the church into like a COVID center. And then now with everything, they turned the other wing into basically like a little commune. He built a bunch of apartments in there because he's like, pretty soon people are going to be evicted and they're going to need a place to live for free for a while till they get on their feet. And so they just built all these apartments. He lives there and manages people getting in and out and helping them. And like, it's like, so there are real people doing real work that fly the Christian flag and like talk about Jesus. Yeah. But those are usually not the ones
Yeah.
I know you feel great in your little community out there, but like those are the ones that haven't read the Bible, the ones that hold their hands up the highest in church.
Yeah. I have a thought about the thing you were talking about here with, pardon me, with God needing the rainbow to remember the covenant. Maybe like he deals with so many realities. Like every universe has its own realities. That it's like when he gets back here, he's like, maybe that's why he needs to remember. Is like, oh fuck, what was the covenant over here? Oh, it's the rainbow. Okay, now I got this one. Yeah,
Dude, can I tell you a story?
okay.
I have this like amazing. I'm not going to use his name, but he's one of my favorite humans. He was a student of mine, and I started teaching him guitar lessons when he was 9. And he wrote a song when he was 9. He couldn't play, and it was hilarious because a Green Day album came out like right after this that had a song called "Jesus of Suburbia," but that was the name of his song.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was pretty cool actually. I was like,
Okay.
dude, you're 9. And when I showed up for our second guitar lesson, he was freaking out, like throwing himself all around, and he was like kicked out of every school. Like I have his school portrait still framed. He has like misfit makeup around his eyes and the misfit like devil lock and like Satan shirt, and I love him. I would bring him to church like this too. It was great. But so he's thrashing around his room, and he's like, I'm like, dude, why are you so upset? And he's like, I wrote a song, man. And I was like, thrashing around more. And I was like, dude, that's really cool, right? And he's like, my mom likes it. He's like, the song's about how her and all her friends are so fucking fake, and they act like Christians, and they're not. They just blah, 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 blah. And if she likes it, I must be a failure. And I was like, to be burdened with this kind of brain at that age, And we would have these long discussions and about religion. He explained to me paganism. Fast forward, he's a train hopper, writes all these songs. He's an artist. He's also been in and out of a lot of different insane asylum places. I'd go teach him lessons there too. But on one of these psychotic breaks, I was going through almost all the weird bullshit. And if you grow up in a Christian community, if you deviate from the way they think you're supposed to live at all, you get attacked like a virus. It's weird. The rumors start spreading. People start calling. It's always negative. They never listen to you. They just want you to comply and act a certain way. But I was in that kind of state where it's just like, I'm trying to figure out which direction is up. And he is over at my house, and he's on a psychotic break. And he goes, out of nowhere, he just goes, Leif, there is an infinite amount of realities. There's an infinite amount of gods. Jesus Christ is just the one that controls this sector of the world, and of the multiverse. And he starts going off on energy fields and like intent and like what is actually making up good or evil. And it was just like, at that point, I'm dealing with a friend that's going through a hard time, and I'm trying to help him. But that little snippet of what he said in that break just fucked my mind. And it was like, like I still think about it. Yeah. So I know that's a whole long way to back up what you just brought up 15 minutes ago, but
Yeah.
It
Just
could
look up, man. Go out to the mountains of the desert and look up. You tell me how many fucking other realities and experiments are going on out there? How many smites have been done? How many floods have taken place? Yeah. I got a weird one here. What is so Noah wakes up from his wine. I really like that. I'm gonna start using that one. I'm still trying to wake up from the wine. That's a good one. Learn what his youngest son had done. He said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves shall he be to his brother." And he said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem." Okay. Oh, so Shem is like God. God is Shem's God. Okay, I thought it was saying that Shem was God. So never mind. May God and may God enlarge Japheth.
Money, vitality, wives,
Okay.
lots of wives, kids.
Well, dwell in the tents of Shem. Does Shem have a lot of tents and Japheth doesn't have any tents?
Well, I'm assuming what's happening here, and like to be honest, I neglect this kind of stuff on purpose because of what I was focusing on. But this is probably to do with like a little bit of a history lesson for people back then, because maybe the people of Shem like made tents is what I'm assuming. So everyone knew, like, oh yeah, you're a Shemanite, you make tents, So I think it's just like,
and you just pulled that out of your ass, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Right there.
Okay. Well, let's not get that all over the podcast.
No, that only happens once every year. And we're almost to the end of the year, so I feel good about
it. But Shem is a good dude, right? Shem and Japheth are the two brothers that are not Canaan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And it's weird how we like tax on and Noah lived to be 950. This is that's a random chapter. It's like
it's a lot.
Well, and it's fucking. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke about it.
I don't. Yeah, keep going.
Smoke on it. Yeah. It's just so strange how you go from securing the covenant and remembering it to getting drunk. I mean, is that what that is? I mean, I could read that like you're saying, like, again, it's that strange thing where it's like, it doesn't say you're just supposed to ignore. So that's a lesson, right? That's a lesson. Respect your parents. It's not, this isn't literal.
Well,
right?
Yeah, or maybe the language they're using was indicative of the time. And if you lived back then, you'd be like, you get every reference, right? Maybe it could be something like that. Like, for us now, it's hard to understand because, we don't buy our tents from Shem Incorporated,
from Shem tents.
Shem tents.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
if it is a lesson, then it's a lesson. Then it's another one of those life lessons we're talking about, right? It's one of the greatest hits. Right?
Yeah. I don't, it's cool to it's so cool to be able to talk through all this shit. And I'm so grateful to be able to always bring up the fundamentalist angle. But yeah, I think it's so established that this poetry, these stories, they've lasted a long time, and it's for a reason. And I don't understand it, but it is I think the only thing we can take from these is essentially the morals or ethics or lessons. But that being said, we're going to get into a bunch of pro-slavery shit pretty soon, and the Bible's incredibly pro-slavery. And I don't want to go off on a tangent on that. But so it's I don't know, I think we just take each story in the most historical context we can and then at face value, and we pick it apart like this. Because it's
right. Okay, good.
It's so fucking, there's so much. There's so many different books, so many different time periods, so many different people trying to be reached with the message, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, I love that because that, and maybe it's good that we're sort of, I don't know, maybe we should have started with one of those things that is obviously not
easy.
Okay. Well, yeah, like slavery. It's oh, okay, well, this is just bullshit, and I mean, because people will, so, do fundamentalists still believe that a rainbow is made by God for his remembrance of the covenant?
Yes.
So so
there's a whole museum about it.
Do they believe that slavery should still be, is it still acceptable?
We just don't talk about that. But do you want to hear something fun? In the New Testament,
no. What do they believe? Do they believe that slavery should still be allowed?
They don't talk about it. No, they would say no, absolutely not, right? But they would say, because the Bible says if you were a slave, to remain a slave, and to be a good slave to show Christ.
So so do they think that people who are sold into sexual slavery should stay a slave?
Why don't we ask them?
You get
Alexa thinks we should. Oh no, I'm really grateful that my family are such sweethearts.
No, I didn't. That was inappropriate.
No.
Please do edit that out, though.
Okay, I will. I will for you. But no, dude, like.
And you won't really, will you?
Okay. Yeah, I will. That one I will. Yeah. But no, I will. I leave in everything. We say we're gonna edit it out.
Of course I will. I'm never editing that shit out.
I edit out like coughs though.
Okay, cool. Right on.
It's hard. I cough a lot.
I know.
Yeah, and it'll take us. I mean, it kind of fits because there's a lot of weirds. If we're doing good, we could even keep reading because it gets even crazier.
Well, honestly, I think we should. I think we totally should. It's
there was one thing I wanted to hit on before we do though, and we can do absolutely a deep dive into the Bible's position on slavery because it's really weird. And if you're a slave and your master is a Christian, you're supposed to serve him twice as hard. You know, like you're serving like your God. You know, so we should, but.
So all that tells me is that this book is mostly self-serving. I mean, it's good lessons. It's good life lessons, but it's also written by people who were intent on keeping any power they had.
Maybe even just survival, but inside of these weird stories that are so tainted by time and, unfortunately, like guarded by a fake righteousness wall of people saying it's inerrant because it ain't,
right.
Is the story of, maybe this magical dude that gets you to heaven.
Well, who? Jesus?
Jesus, yeah. But I don't think it's
he's not even in this book, though. Why are we talking about Jesus?
Nope.
Yeah. So why we shouldn't even be talking about him yet?
Okay, let's not then. So
no, only because it's
I
like
back it.
What's that?
I back it.
Yeah, just like this is God, it's such a weird story.
I know. It's so hard to keep linear too, right? Because it's like
well, this book doesn't keep linear.
That's the thing.
It doesn't. So no. Start on 10. Read 10.
Okay. So and also before we go on to 10, I got to point out because this is when it becomes okay to eat meat. Right here at the end.
What?
Yeah.
You mean the part where it says you just don't eat? You have to bleed it first.
But yeah, all that stuff about meat. Remember when God creates in 1 and 2, everyone was vegetarian, including animals.
No. It says you.
I'm not going to go back there and read it. You agreed with me. Go back to that first podcast. You were like, okay, I see that.
What? Which chapter is it?
That God created. It's 1 and 2. But let's not do it now.
Okay.
But I want to say that
all right.
If you're
I acquiesced. Yeah.
If we're part of this tribe back then, now here's how you can justify eating meat before God.
Gotcha. Okay. And what are we on? Oh, we're on 10, right?
Dad, shit gets wacky. Here we go.
Go ahead.
These are the lines of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah. The sons were born to them after the flood. The descendants of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Japheth, Tolba, Meshish, and Teresh. The descendants of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rephtaph, and Togarmah. The descendants of Japheth, Elish, and the Teresh, and the Kiddium, and the Dodam. I think I'm saying all those right.
Whoa, those dudes have Elish and Teresh, the Kitty. They're the
Kiddim.
What are they? They're the Kiddim, and the Dulce.
Like, are they like a
Il
Duce
Duce
or something? Yeah.
It's like so sweet.
It's pretty cool. When they must have been able to kick ass.
Dude, you're the Leif. I want to be the G.
It's pretty good. Actually.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah,
we'll get you like one of those diamond encrusted necklaces soon.
Yeah, boy.
The G. That'd be pretty good.
I guess I'll just share with you. Remind me about diamonds after we're done.
Okay. From these, the maritime nations branched out. These are the descendants of Japheth by their lands, each with its language, their clans, and their nation. The descendants of Ham, Cush, Mazar, Put, and Canaan. The descendants of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabbath, Ramah, and Sebtika. The descendants of Ram, Sheba, and Dedan. Cush also begot Nimrod, who is the first man of might on earth. Interesting. He was a mighty hunter by the grace of the Lord. Hence the saying, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter by the grace of the Lord. The mainstays of his kingdom were Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Clina. I'm not sure about that one. In the land of Shinar. From the land of Asher went forth and built Nineveh, Rebuth, Clan, and Rezin between Nineveh and Calan. And that is the great city. And Mizraim begot the Ludim, the Ananim, the Lebanim. These are so big.
Jesus,
We're
dude.
just going to try to get through them. Oh, god damn, there's too many genealogies. Fuck this shit. These are all just begots.
That's fine. Let's just skip down to the good stuff.
Yeah, how about we just fuck off?
Although it does say the Philistines, which is cool.
It's
Whence
giving
the-
like these are all the credentials of why this belief is important. Here's where it comes from. Here's all the men of awesomeness. Really, probably it's just more like the Justin Biebers of back then, right?
Well, what is the first chapter 8 is where it was. What is the Nimrod, who was the first man of might? What's a man of might?
I don't get it. I don't. To be honest, genealogies don't get talked about that much. And when it was just like he was probably like just a fucking jacked Jew that kicked everyone's fucking ass and beat a bunch of battles, Like my buddy here.
I'd like to know what that translation is.
I can look it up if you want.
Well, no, I mean like what do you mean? Like, yeah, I mean
10. What's the number?
10:8. It's interesting that Nimrod has turned around and now it's not a great. You want to see you want to see something really funny? Here, you look it up. I'll be right back. Sorry, I thought it said Nimrod. It says.
What does it say? Nincompoop?
My friend Amy Gard gave that to me when I moved away from Los Angeles. My favorites of all time. Sorry.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. All right.
No, well, so
yeah.
there's a lot of occurrences of this mighty one. There's 42 in the Bible.
Of a man of might.
Yeah, and it's usually seems right now a warrior and hunter.
Oh, okay.
It's always about a warrior and hunter so far.
Okay.
Valor. It seems to me, yeah, still warrior. So he's like, an old Israelite badass, like
Right.
huge fucking dude. I want to get through all this because the stories get crazier, and we'll just go from 32 right at the end there. These are the groupings of Noah's descendants according to their origins, by their nation, and from these the nations branched out over the earth after the flood. Chapter 11. Everyone on earth had the same language and the same words, and as they migrated from the east, they came up upon a valley in the land of Shinar and settled there. They said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them hard." Brick served them as stone, and the bitumen served them as mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build us a city and a tower with its top in the sky, to make a name for ourselves, else we shall be scattered all over the world. The Lord came down to look at the city and the tower that the men had built. And the Lord said, if these as one people with one language for all, this is how they have begun to act, then nothing that they may propose to do will be out of their reach. Let us then go down and confound their speech there, so that they shall not understand one another's speech. Thus the Lord scattered them from there over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it is called Babel, because there the Lord confounded the speech of the whole earth, and from there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. You want to stop there for a hot second?
Sure.
Holy fuck. That's interesting.
Yeah, again, that just sounds to me like an explanation. I mean, it's so hard to wrap your head around being from a time when there were just tribes scattered all over everywhere.
Yeah.
And they must have, and it, they had to come from somewhere, right? Like these, it's just crazy. I think, and so Babylon was the city that they were trying to build until the Lord came down.
This is their explanation, but Babylon was built, and Babylon has this very Babylonian structure called a ziggurat.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had these like very tall, like, not quite pyramids, I think is as they're described, but like,
Right.
shapes that go up to the heaven. And later, there's this guy named Jacob, and he wrestles an angel, and he sees the ladder to heaven, and it's usually called, Jacob's ladder, right?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But that word can be, it's actually translated ziggurat better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's hilarious again is this whole idea that the Lord can read your thoughts, but he can't see a building unless he comes down to earth. Oh, I gotta put some eyeballs on this thing, like the first. He's like the first building inspector.
And he's obviously not pumped about us being smart.
No,
like he doesn't want us working together. Like he's like, look what they can accomplish together. Fuck these guys.
Oh no, fuck this. Fuck, this happened before.
Like, yeah, what is that? Like, is
this is that fucking?
God's so human.
This is Yahweh. This is that fucking spiteful Yahweh prick.
God is so human in these texts, though. Like,
well, and haven't we decided that the human God is Yahweh and the Mother Nature God is Elohim?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're saying cosmically it's Elohim, and then anthropomorphically, it's Yahweh.
But sometimes they smush them together, just like the two stories. They also like have them, like Noah, like cosmically the flood happens, but what's the word you used? Anthropomorphically?
Yeah, like human. It's about it's human.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
Like that. That's the other guy. That's the asshole. It's so.
Yeah. It's
he's concerned. Like a lot of this, like you said, is like he's not stoked about us being smart. Like they like he overshot. I was just trying to have some people that kind of like mine some gold for us. What the fuck? These guys are making cities and talking to each other, and we're gonna. I told you we shouldn't have made them in our image. We should have made them in the image of fucking monkeys.
More hair. More hair.
More hair. Less sexy on the women. Jesus Christ. Put some hair on those.
God.
Put some hair on those bosoms, would you? Jesus, I want those things.
Yeah, like because obviously Christianity and Judaism is the most successful foray humans have had into monotheism ever, right? Like, maybe you could definitely put like Muslims in there too, like sticking
Sure.
around. They believe in this one God, but like it's so weird that in the Old Testament, that like God is so human. He couldn't be more like a dude, concerned
Yeah.
about dude things,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he's like, and he's
Like he's jealous, you know?
like yeah, like what the fuck, like,
Yeah.
or like,
It's a little bit like tending a flock, though, you know, like, oh, this sheep's going to be a fucking trouble. This sheep's going
but
to be
that
a
would
problem.
make sense if you're a god, right? Then maybe
Well,
we're proving God to be real.
Well, and especially if you've got creations all throughout the fucking universe, like your boy was saying,
Yeah, dog.
you know. I don't know.
I don't know, man. You look up at night and tell me, like, you look up at night and tell me it's crazy.
There's more begodding coming.
Oh man, that's why I was trying to kind of go through there because there's also like a bunch of weird incest coming up. So
you want to stampede to the incest.
no, I didn't mean it that way. No,
We just get to the bone, China.
It's just there's a bunch of crazy stories. That's the craziest, so that's the one I picked. There's better ones. Is what I mean.
Crazier than divine beings humping the humans. I think that's my best one so far. I'm sure we'll get more, but it's like,
can you imagine like a Sunday sermon? Like, can you imagine this kind of a sermon at church? Like,
see, that's bullshit. There should be. Well, you know, I've talked
I
about a lot
agree.
of stuff in here, but what I have to, it's, you know, you might not like to hear this, but it's in the Bible, so I'm going to talk about it this morning. Here it is. Don't shoot the messenger.
yeah. So God, he likes to hump things.
He and his brothers, they like to.
And like the fucking and they obviously compete with us in some weird way because he's making it harder for us. So like, does that mean we can become gods? Does the LDS have it right? Do the Mormons? They're just over there polite, helping everyone.
Maybe. All right. So let's get back on this thing. Are you gonna skip? Well, the line of shows 100 years.
Hey, how about you take over and I'll smoke weed because it's fun.
Well, are we gonna do
Let me
all
turn
this
the verse.
begodding? Yeah. Tell me where.
No, let's. Okay, I'll help you.
Let's skip the begodding after the birth. Daughters. We
so,
get it.
But
Population.
But it is weird that this is like, you know. I mean,
Fuck it. I'll just do it. I'll just do it. It's fine.
Did we sum up the Tower of Babel because it's pretty huge? And are we skipping over a massive section that we should?
No, like what? Like, I mean, what more do you say? It's like it seems like God is spiting us because we're doing good things.
Which is weird, yeah, right?
And what? So, what's the moral? Are we supposed to pull a moral out of that? Like,
no fucking idea. Be dumb.
Don't try to build your tower too high. Don't try to be too much.
Man, you know, in Russia, when I was there, they had this saying, the tallest blade of grass gets cut first.
Yeah.
Because, like, no one in public would act. They would just, it was all like, you're on the metro, you're on the train, you know, like, everyone. It's like the last day I was there, I was, like, swimming in fountains and shit, like, making my friends laugh like crazy. But, yeah, that seems to be, and maybe that was really important back then. I don't know. Maybe they acted more like a herd of zebras, and there was like, don't go too far away from the pack. Don't think too, you know, Billy, he built that tall tower. He fucking fell off. You know, that's what happens there.
Right.
You know, Jebediah it didn't fare too well for him, did it?
No.
But like, I don't know what else to think about it because it seems like God's a vindictive asshole at this point.
Well, and he's saying that if you, that is why it was called Babel, because the Lord confounded the speech. So he like, if you build your tower too high, if you shoot for the stars, then God is going to confound your life.
Well, and like, so what about like, you know, the software I use to bring Greek into English, and what about the connectivity we're all experiencing? Or
Oh,
you know what I'm
you know,
saying?
you know what this is. You know
Okay,
what this is.
hit me.
And they said, "Come, us, let us build us a city and a tower with its top in the sky to make a name for ourselves."
Okay, okay.
Maybe it's that bit where they're like, because I was saying like they don't even say they're doing it for the wrong reason, but it's like, but else, but like name for it, else will be scattered all over the world. Like, what? Why is it that? Why is it that if they make a name for them, why is making a name for themselves and keeping themselves together a negative? I mean, and I guess why is it that only making a name for themselves will keep them from being scattered? That's my real question.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to be a tribe that people are afraid of, so people don't mess with them and they don't come and raid them and take them as slaves or something.
I mean, they were a small in the geopolitical landscape. This is a very small section of the world.
Lineage.
Pontius Pilate, I think, called it a hole in the corner of the map. That's what he called Jerusalem. So
Well,
it's like,
but that's thousands of years later.
but there's still, this is, they okay, so they leave like, this is before. So I don't understand. I was trying to take it away in a way that I think would work, and it's totally wrong. And I'm fucking perplexed even now. Like, is ego the thing he's talking about? Then is it like too much? All of us together. Nope. I don't even think it's that. I don't fucking know. I don't get it.
No, it's a tough one. It's a tough one that you're not supposed to. And again, like this is, I don't know, but but that sucks. But that sucks.
Right? It's like, what?
Don't be great.
How the fuck does this serve us? Yeah, don't be good. Don't be good. Don't come together.
No, don't be great.
No, sorry.
You can be good. Just don't.
You can be
great.
good. Just don't be great.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Don't get all the best scientists and filmmakers and musicians and and one, not politicians. They all suck. In one room. And let them work together. Don't do that.
You'd think if there was a God, he'd be down here right now going, that AI is going to fuck you guys in the ass.
Oh, my God.
Right? So where is he?
Well, see, I mean, we're not even there, but I definitely had a theory that, like, technology is because the mark of the beast. For a long time when I used to...
So we need to go through the begats, and then we have to.
Let's fuck it.
No, we have to. We have to, man.
Why?
We got to read the Bible, man.
Okay.
We're reading the Bible. Look, and I'll do it. I'll do the dumb one.
Okay.
After, I'm gonna butcher these names, and I'm just gonna go through them. Okay. So
Okay.
like, fucking sue me if you want to read the Bible, bitches. You fucking do it yourself. All right. You want pronunciation? Do it your fucking selves. Okay. After the birth of that person, Shem lived 500 years and begot sons and daughters. When that person had lived 35 years, he begat Shelah. After the birth of Shelah, Arapachshad lived 403 years and begat sons and daughters. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he begat Eber. After the birth of Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and begat sons and daughters. When Eber lived 34 years, he begot Peleg. Interesting about this is God has already said that now we can only live 120 years, and these people are still living a long time.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. After the birth of Peleg, Eber lived 430 years, and had sons and daughters. After the birth of Ru, Peleg lived 209 years, had sons and daughters. When Ru had lived 32 years, he begot Sereg. After the birth of Sereg, Ru lived 207 years and begot sons and daughters. Sons and daughters, fuck you, sons and daughters. Now this is the line of Terah. Terah begot Abraham. Oh, Abram. And Haran.
Yeah, he's Abram at this point.
Abram. And Haran begot Lot. Haran died in the lifetime of his father Terah in his native land Ur of the Chaldeans.
The Chaldeans.
Abrams and Nabor took to themselves wives, the names Abram wives being Sarai, and that of Nerah's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Isaac.
Nice, dog.
Yeah. Now Sarai was barren; she had no children. Sorry, Sarai. Terah, who was the son of Abraham, his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abram, and they set out together from Ur to the Chaldeans, from the land of Canaan. But when they had come as far as Haran, they settled there. The days of Terah came to 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Yeah. Well, that's a lot of explanation we don't care about.
Which it's like
I'm super down with the lineage, and it would mean a lot to me if I was Jewish and I could go back here. And it's funny that I have a friend named Sari, and she's like awesome, and I just never knew that. I mean,
I don't know if I think it might be Sarai. I'm not sure.
Well, her name's Sari, but I don't know if that's how she spells it.
Both, and you'll see a lot through these stories. The names change too after a significant event.
Oh, right.
So they're gonna get changed a little bit pretty soon.
Gotcha.
And it's fun because again, the laws of physics just keep getting fucking bent. Let's not even say the laws of physics. What God says is gonna happen isn't happening since all these motherfuckers are living.
Right.
And starting out doing this fucking thing finally, because I've been thinking about it for so long, it's like so fun to change and to become more equipped to understand this book even more, because picking it apart like this, there's so many ways you can take these stories. There's no systematic introduction of theology in the Bible. There's a bunch of stories that span a bunch of times. I mean, people like to say there is. They'll take this portion and this portion, but it's like, no, not if you're taking it for what it is. And
who are you? Who are you to dictate perspective or interpretation?
Especially if and really, unfortunately, at their peril, and this is why their kids won't believe in the faith and go to church, unfortunately, is not listen to the people that read the languages. At least, if the guys that study all the different codexes and scripts and manuscripts and scrolls that we have of these ancient texts are all agreeing on these things, you should probably bend the knee a little bit, unless you want to go fucking prove them wrong. Go learn ancient Hebrew. But the stories only get wackier and more condensed from here on out, because it's just apparently this Sarai girl is super fucking beautiful, because everywhere they go, he's like, you got to say you're my sister. Because they're just you're so hot, they're gonna just take you and kill me because you're so good looking. And there's a bunch of other really weird.
So is that Abram's wife?
Yeah.
Okay. So can we just for our purpose, can we just call her Sari?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I just got to think about it 6 times real quick. 1 second.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because my friend's Sari, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. I like the nod. Yeah.
She's awesome.
So this is a lot happened in these couple of chapters here, and we covered a lot of chapters this. We did a lot. We got all the way to 12.
That's good.
That's some fucking legwork, bitches.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Here, parsing out the word of God for you, motherfuckers.
And not skipping, and not breezing over the shitty parts either.
It's hard. Yeah, you kept me honest. I was totally ready to
I was ready too. But you know what? When am I gonna do this again?
Yeah. That's the problem. Yeah, that's my problem.
I mean, fuck. Genesis has fucking how many? We got 40 chapters to 40 fucking 38 chapters to go, man. We're not even close.
Wait till we get into there's certain books of the Bible that are only genealogies for the most part.
Yeah, well, I don't know that those I mean, we can do it, but that's not really we're not Jewish.
That'll be that'll be Let's Take Acid and Read Genealogies. That'll be the name of that season. We'll save it.
Okay.
And I don't know how to make that interesting.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Unless we can find people from, but I just don't care. I don't care. That's not people. Nobody. And that's another thing is like, those aren't the words of God.
Why would like your credentials? Well, first of all, like, where'd all the other people come from to begin with? Like,
yeah, this is just a single line of
Noah.
And they already said, Cain already said, you can't kick me out, dude, because those other guys will fucking, just fucking shank me.
Yeah.
So
that's before, but it's
like,
still like.
But yeah, so that that's Cain, and
That's
he's supposed to be like,
flood, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but like the wackiness of this, the ridiculousness of this, that every congregation shies away from, that every pastor shies away from, is kind of what I find to be charming. Like, of course it would be like this, because this is, these people didn't even have like shoes. I mean, not really. And like, of course you would think this way. It's so causal, in effect. Like and so like, I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater just because they were seeing the world this way, Yeah. But I do think it has to be addressed, and I'm glad we do, because I don't think enough people get to hear the truth behind this shit. That's like, these are all, even if you go to a church and you really enjoy it, like, that's still that dude's best. That's his best shot at it. He's reading this book and trying to figure it out just like you, So, man, we did. I think we went almost too far. I might have to edit the end of this, huh? We both.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
We're
I was like, am I ranting too much?
Oh no, whatever. You know what's best. No, it's brilliant. So, but I think we're good, right? That's a good one.
Because this is fun, and the 12 and everything else. There's a lot of really crazy, rad stories that come up,
coming.
And
it's coming,
dude. Like the amount. Like, why are Christians so boring, when their book is so fucking, it's crazy.
There's some fucking hits in this thing, man. There's some fucking sexy time hits. You could go around saying, you know what? I'm of the lineage of a divine being, so I'm going to fuck all the hot women. Some of them I'm going to make my wives, but not all of them.
Not all of them.
How come that religion hasn't popped up? I want to be with the religion of the divine beings.
Yeah. And everything from here becomes super polygamist. Like, oh yeah, everyone has a bunch of wives.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have as many wives as you can afford, right?
Basically.
It's kind of the deal.
Yeah.
Well, and they're trying to populate the place. I wonder what would have happened. I don't know. All right, well let's sign this thing up. And,
okay, yeah, we took it far as we can for you all today.
Yeah.
All right. God be with you.
Yeah. And also with you.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
Oh God. We fucking love you guys. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're very excited for this new year. We're very excited for all you that are listening. We're very excited to keep doing this. See you next week. Smooches.